Happy Sunday, you beautiful people. You. I hope you've had a lovely week. It feels like it's been ages since we last got together. However, we're back here on the Jaden Show together to meet a phenomenal artist. He's not only a singer, songwriter, producer, advocate, artist, author, but also a rapper too, even though he doesn't like that word at the moment, but might get to like it by the end of the show. His name is Ross Victory, and we're going to LA, USA to meet this wonderful man. Now, before we chat with him, I think I should show you the song that we're going to be chatting quite a bit about throughout the interview. This is Ross Victory. This is Bisexual Days.
My life. Haters always say you a greedy motherfucker. Pull up to the club with bisexual thoughts. Niggas check your teeth, intellectual flaws. Call the police or the shrink, cause all y'all look thick. Is arrows on my forehead like that pussy and dick. Maybe it's him, maybe it's her, maybe it's them getting me scared. You drop something in my drink, eat up bisexual buffet. You try to shoot, maybe they spy. Cash in the boot, audible thigh, edible fruit. I'm too high, bisexual babe. Maybe I'm lit, in a bisexual craze. I'm just lit, in a bisexual days. Wet dream in a bottle, what it tastes like. Puss pink, gobble gobble, real tight. Kitty chase me around and around in a maze, rat race, spoon nigga, fright night. Shorty say she love to see the cocks fight. Scared of the vibe, bring a nightlight. 2 tongues on the pussy, said my type. Sweat you too hot, frostbite. This couple want me, I don't know what to do. Trapped in the closet, paralyzed, I can't move. He kissed my neck and her lips between my thighs. Was dead inside, I'm alive, rockabye. Haters always say we greedy motherfuckers. 10 toes down, hope you see us motherfuckers. Lit. Bisexual craze, give it to me now. Lit. In the bisexual days, what I'm all about. Lit. Can't stop bisexual craze, wanna hear it loud. Drip. Don't know bisexual glaze. I'm 10 toes down, hope you see us, motherfucker. Bisexual days. This is for the bees in my life. Bisexual days. Give it to me now.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm super excited to meet this week's incredibly special guest. Let's go and meet Ross Victory, this week's special guest. Ross Victory, welcome to the Jaden Show. How are you doing, young man?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
It's a bloody pleasure, I've been listening to your works all morning. I'm loving every single thing that I'm listening to. So you call yourself an author, artist, and advocate, but you're also a singer, songwriter, and producer.
Yeah.
But you rap. How come rapping is never mentioned in anything you do?
You know what? That's a great question. And maybe it's because I haven't, and this comes up when I'm in the studio as well, like, are you a rapper? And, I guess I haven't really been drawn to that term. I guess even though some of my performances feel like rap, I guess I never go in with the intention for it to be rap. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that would be why. Okay. Well, I'm going to add rapper to the list anyway, because you kind of cover it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So when did it all start for Little Mr. Victory? Like going back to, you're frozen actually.
Am I?
Oh, you're back now. That's all right. It was, but you're lucky because I don't even need to edit that stuff because it was a lovely pose. It was a really, my ones look like I've been stung by a wasp in my nether region.
Oh my
Yeah, but no, that was a really nice kind of a smiley frozen.
Oh, good.
So let's go back to it. So when did it happen? Kind of Little Mr. Victory, sitting around the house. Kind of what music were your family into music? Like what was your kind of upbringing musically? How did you start getting into this vibe?
So, Jaden, that is a very complicated, complex, layered question, but I think it all starts, of course, in childhood. So my parents, they love a station called 94.7 The Wave, which is like a smooth jazz radio station. So a lot of Kenny G, Anita Baker, Sade, all of those artists were always on the loudspeaker growing up. And of course, at the time, Isley, I don't want to say the Isley Brothers, but my dad really loved the Isley Brothers. So a lot of like R&B, smooth jazz, and I just gravitated towards it. I mean, when I was a little kid, I also gravitated towards storytelling, making up worlds, and using my imagination. And I think maybe in about first or second grade is when I really started doing the singing and the talent shows and the whole like sharing it, and of course all through grade school, all through middle school, high school. I didn't start going into the studio with my own songs, lyrics, and beats until maybe college time. And for a period of time, I took an extended break because I had just graduated. I was getting used to the work world, and I actually came back to music in 2019, and I was inspired to come back to that after my father passed. Awesome. And so that really kind of shook up, my kind of identity, my expression, what I wanted to say, how I wanted to participate in the world. And so I rediscovered music, and ever since, and I think right now I'm in the phase of rediscovering.
That's amazing, man. When firstly, sorry to hear about your dad. My father died on my 21st birthday so many years ago, and it was quite interesting because my dad was dyslexic, couldn't read or write, but could pick up any instrument and learn it within seconds. So music was such a big part, and I was too shy. I was a very shy kid, so I kind of didn't. I mean, I loved being dramatic and acting and doing drama class until I was asked to show something, and then would be too shy and would cry. And so I kind of stayed away from everything. But like you, when my father died, for me, the only thing that I had that kind of reminded me of a time where I felt secure, where I had my dad, where, was when I was doing music. So for me, it kind of happened the same, that was the thing that felt the most like home, even though everything now is completely different and will be different for the rest of my life. So I think it was that kind of that comforting thing, and that I kind of, associate with my dad. When you were doing your talent competitions, what kind of things were you going in doing? Were you going and singing like, I don't know, Stevie Nicks or New Edition, or like what was your personal vibe when you were like auditioning and doing shows and stuff like that?
So back in the MySpace era, so I was also doing like competitions. So they would assign you a song or have a list of songs you could choose from. So it was a lot of like Neo, Trey songs, that type of thing. And then also gospel songs. So it was usually songs that had been pre-assigned and you could kind of choose one from. I think the last competition I did over 10 years ago was for Neo's Miss Independent. So yeah, it is a popular one. So yeah.
Smooth. So do you go back to the same vibes that you were listening to as a youngster now? Or has your kind of perception of music and your kind of eclectic mix changed drastically over the years?
I love that. And I feel like there's just so much range in my background, because even when I was in high school, there was a very kind of classical kind of choral music that my school was doing. And I remember for many years, I hated it. I was like, I do not want to sing this way, but it actually kind of added to kind of my music vocabulary or library. And so I guess when I create my own songs, I just try to be authentic with what I'm saying, opposed to kind of like the style, if that makes sense. I just want to make sure that Ross translates on every song that I do, no matter how
But
it sounds.
doesn't matter the genre, you're always Ross Victory, right?
Yeah, I try to show up like that. Yeah.
No, that's what I've been doing. I mean, when I was younger, I was doing pop group, and God forbid you put like the wrong instrument in a pop track, because then you're going to, to left side and it's a little bit not pop, and you had to stay pigeonholed and you had to kind of always just be what you were. But when I decided just to be Jaden, I could sing Nessun Dorma by, I don't know, Pavarotti, or I don't know, something by Celine Dion or Whitney Houston, and I always sound like me. Obviously, I'm not going to sing Whitney Houston like this, but but I have to play with my voice. But it's always just Jaden playing around with different sounds, I guess, how you would in the studio, right?
Yes, and that I think is what the purpose of music is for me. It's the therapy, it's the playtime. Like, it should be fun, it should be experimental. I don't like to force things, so if I'm at the studio, if it's not working, usually good songs come really fast, at least in my experience. Things that I really like, they come fast. So I just try to have fun and not force anything.
So what have you been doing? Have you released LPs, EPs? I know you've just released, what you haven't long released, Bisexual Days, right? That's quite fresh, yeah.
Yeah, so that one was Pride Month of this year. I have dropped, so during the pandemic, remember COVID-19?
Yeah.
Remember that? So
I think everyone is still scarred, mate. And I think
right.
just waiting for the next hit of something.
I know, I just triggered like all of your audience when I said that. So I did, during the pandemic, I did drop 2 EPs. They were really small projects. I think one had 4 or 5 songs. One was called Winter Nights in Quarantine. So that's exactly what it sounds like. Winter Nights in Quarantine is very slow love songs, being locked inside with a lover, all of that type of stuff. And then the other EP I dropped was called Bangers. Again, exactly what it sounds like. It's all kind of hip hop, dance, music, rapping. So I guess I should embrace that. I'm rapping and singing and, having a good time. So, yeah.
So what's going on at the moment for Mr. Victory?
So I have so many projects I'm always working on. So I just dropped a book. And so this is going to kind of switch it up a little bit from what we're talking about.
We're now going from singer to author.
We're going into singer to author, which is kind of related.
Yeah.
Because I just dropped a book earlier this year called Grandpa's Cabin. It's a horror fiction about an evil grandfather. However, part of that project, I wanted to do 3 different formats. I wanted to have a written format, like a picture format, a lookbook, kind of like an art format, but also an audiobook format. And on the audiobook, I tend to like add music and add original. So I add sound effects and some original music. So right now I'm recording the audiobook for Grandpa's Cabin, and I'm trying to be open to beats and sounds as far as what is the best song that I could put on that audiobook to represent the project.
Do you create that original music yourself, or are you creating with others?
Yeah, so I would usually write the song, but I would look for the beat. Sometimes I have written the song first and hired people to help with the music and the production of it. Right now, actually, I'm really open to collaborating with people. In the past, I've never used to be open to writing with people and all of that. But I feel like when you have a song with a message, we're in service to the message and the purpose of the song. And if I can't meet that, maybe someone else can help the song come about. And I really believe that now.
Do you play any musical instruments yourself?
No, I wish I did, and that's a shame.
You do everything else. You don't need to, really. Let's be honest.
I know, right? I know, but I wish I tried. My parents had us in piano classes as kids, and we hated it. Never paid attention to nothing.
Yeah, no, I know how that feels. Yeah, I've been there as well, and now I regret it. To be fair,
Right.
I've got a ukulele here and a guitar. Don't know what end is what. If I'm being
Oh wow, ukulele. I feel like the ukulele always creates like an interesting kind of reflective, fun kind of
yeah,
song.
and it's probably going to be quite easy to learn. I mean, I've been doing a couple of YouTube tutorials, as you do.
Yeah,
I seem to get time to pick it up again. I get time to pick it up to dust it when I'm cleaning the house.
there you go.
But that's going to be my New Year's res for next year is to at least get 3 chords in by Easter. That'll be my plan. So we've talked about your rapping, your music. We've also talked now a little bit about your you've been an author. When is your book out now? Is it actually published and out?
It's published. It's out. It's
Where
available.
can they find it? Where can we find it?
Yeah. So usually the best place to go is Amazon or Barnes and Noble. Also this year, the service that I'm using to distribute it, they have access to Walmart online. So people can find it there. Of course, on my website, in my DMs, people have hit me up like, hey, I want to get the book. They don't know what to do. It's like, I have a box here and I'm happy. If you're willing to share your address, I'm willing to sign it and get it in the mail to you.
Wow, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So are you self-published or did you go through a publishing house? You're self-published as well?
Self-published, yeah. I feel like self-publishing is a really good way to control the process and the product. And actually, it's really interesting. Like, I like being involved in the process and building relationships and seeing how everything is set up. It's really hard and time consuming and it's kind of thankless, but I find it kind of fun to know the steps that are coming. You know?
And it's the same with your music as well, right?
Same with the music. You know, you got to go through that production phase and then have a plan to push it out to people. And so once you kind of do that loop a couple times, you're like, oh, okay, let's just do it again. And again.
Like, yeah, you kind of know where to start from.
Yeah.
So how is it going? How is the music going? How is it being received? You know, how is your fan base growing?
Yeah. So this year with the song I dropped, Bisexual Days, I feel like this year taught me a lot about, I don't know, reaching audiences. It taught me a lot about my own kind of strength, because when I went into this song, I said, I want to have something fun for Pride. I want to kind of shout out all my bi people in the community. And when I did that and I started promoting it, I was greeted with, of course, I mean, a lot of hate online. I mean, that was to be expected, but also I was surprised by how I dealt with it. And kind of, I was surprised by what I learned. It's kind of like, as an artist, my job is to create. These people, your job is to consume. So this is what it is. I have to keep going. So it's almost like a game. It's like, are people going to say hateful stuff and do the most, and then you're going to quit and give up, or you're going to keep going? And so I feel like that was just a lesson with that song, but I could apply it to the whole process. You know, your music and the creation and the books and all the stuff is not for everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah. I still find it, I mean, like you say that, you know, you were receiving kind of hate over the stuff that you were doing. And maybe I was just a different generation, but I was kind of really brought up with, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. You know?
Right.
So I remember I was going for a stage where I was taking photos on my Facebook. I was kind of doing this and sticking my tongue out. And I would get like just the most intense emails inboxes from old ladies saying, you think you're cool, you think you're trendy, and you're trying to be all that, but you're vulgar, and just put your bloody tongue away when you're taking it. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, you know what, all respect, you don't have to check out my wall. You don't have to listen to my music or look at my photos. And I wouldn't even listen to my mother, God bless her, if she told me to put my tongue away. So I don't know what makes you think you're more important than her. I would never say anything to anyone, even if it wasn't my bag.
Yeah.
So I find it really difficult that you know, people still get hate. I mean, I'm an out gay artist. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm kissing a guy in one of my videos, which was actually, it was quite interesting because I was brought up I was a pop star in the 90s, and God forbid you are even remotely assumed as being gay. Like, you'll be dropped by a record label, you lose all your 13-and-a-half-year-old girl fans,
Wow.
and that's it. You mean you're out. You don't go to gay places, you're not seen with guys, you don't even hug a guy, blah, blah, blah. So a friend of mine last year, he's a reggaeton artist here called Black Sicano, and he was like, Jaden, I really want to do this song, but I'd like to like incorporate like your style with my style, and I'll be like typical like black gangster who always gets the beautiful girl. Only this time you'll be like this kind of European hardcore like businessman kind of thing, but you end up with the boy. And I'm like, no, man, I can't do that shit. I really can't. And he's like, why not? I'm like, because I can't, man. I'll never get a job doing that.
Wow.
How old are you? I'm like, you're right. I'm 50 years old and I don't give a shit. Bring it.
Wait, you're 50?
Yeah.
Wow, you don't look 50 at all.
Oh, very smooth, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's still a Harry Potter fan, you see. I think that's kind of kept me youthful and a little bit stupid.
Wow. But I feel like what you just shared, it shows, I mean, there's a lot in there, right? It shows kind of where people are, society is, where music is. I mean, there's a lot. And I have to admit that there are parts of my personality that are rebellious. And I mean, I knew that I would get a response because I also did a visual where this guy, he's pretty much like in a club and he's checking out guys and girls and he's just like in a daze. And I knew that I would get a response. So there's that. But also too, I think people can't help themselves. When something resonates with them, they're gonna react. So when I put that song out, it's like, oh, so you're reacting because this title, this image, something is activating something in you, and that's okay. That's the purpose, right, of good art. Maybe
I found I never got any hate mail for anything for that. My video was literally I'm in a rooftop bar over the Caribbean, and I end up kissing this really handsome dude in the sea at the end of the video. And it was really interesting. I've had no problem with my sexuality. It's for me, it's on a need to know basis. I'm not going to say, hi, I'm Jaden Cornelius and I'm a gay man. As I wouldn't say, hi, I'm Jaden Cornelius and I'm a straight man. It's just, if we're chatting and I feel that you're going to be in my outer friendship circle, then we're probably going to discuss it, at some point. So, but for me, it's not something that it's not that I'm not open with it. I just don't think it's anyone's business unless it becomes part of our friendship and it's your business, right? And, it was really, really quite interesting because the only problem I actually got with it was one person said, oh my God, are you gay? That was it. I was like, I'm kissing a boy in the so I'm obviously not straight, dude.
Right.
If I wanted to kiss, I mean, like, I'm 100% gay. Do you know what I mean? Like me and Judy Garland, she's my spiritual guru. But I mean, if I wanted to kiss a girl in a video, I could do that as well because it's part of art and acting and stuff like that. Do you feel that your bisexual days thing and your artistry, is that where the advocate thing comes in, or is that a whole different thing of yours?
I love that question because in addition to the harsh comments, I mean, I got a lot of people shouting it out like, hey man, this is a banger. I mean, many people DMing me like, oh my God, I was so surprised that I heard something for us. So it's like that whole advocacy thing, it is like shining a light, I think, in a dark room. You know what I mean? And I think with music, it's a unique place because it's not really a political type. I mean, it's music, right? But when you put something in a title or when you say something, you have ability to shine the light. And especially in a genre like hip hop, back to what you were saying about rapping, of course, there's a lot of gay rappers. There's a lot of bi rappers. Everyone is, like expressing themselves, but it's like, how do we shine a light and how do we kind of inspire even within all of that? And so that was kind of the purpose of it too.
I think that's also a bit about, for me, it was, I mean, the song that I'd written with this guy was reggaeton. So I really don't know of any gayness in reggaeton at all, to be fair, at the moment. I'm not kind of in with that whole scene, but I've not really seen or kind of heard of anything that is particularly LGBTQ in the reggaeton world, as far as I know.
That's true. Yeah,
So
you
I
don't really
think, as far
know.
as I'm concerned, at the moment, unless someone proves it wrong, I'm still reggaeton's first gay kiss.
There you go.
To be
Own it.
fair,
Take it.
you
Take
know,
it.
I'm claiming that as
Take it.
taken me to this age to get there, but I got there, and it was
You
bloody awesome.
got there.
And I was kissing a straight guy, which makes it even more
There you
random.
go.
But yeah, what I was just saying as well. Like, I just kind of think as well that I didn't go in there to kind of say, right, I need to bring my homosexuality into a very heterosexual genre of music. Or it was just, I think, and it goes to what you were saying earlier about being that, just that authentic you. I don't need to prove who I am. I don't need, like, it's not something I need to do. It's just part of Jaden. So,
Yeah.
you know, when I try to be straight for business wise, and I don't know, I try to sound blacker, or I try to sound more pop, or I try to dance like Brittany, or I try to, you know, become more R&B, nothing ever really worked because it wasn't authentic. And now I'm just being me. It's not that I'm trying, I think I'm an advocate anyway. I believe in, you know, positivity and the law of, you know, like, not the law of attraction, but that kind of vibe anyway. And so I completed a studio album which was called The Light, which was all about finding, is sometimes when you're in your darkest moment that actually that little glimmer of light is at its most brightest, and whatever that
Yeah.
situation is, that's when you get led out, and believing in yourself, and, you know, attracting the things that you need in order to be able to see that as, you know, your pathway out, rather than being stuck in that darkness. But for me, with my sexuality, it just, I kind of got to a stage where I just felt there were so many things that were setting us apart that we never just started being and looking at that which makes us the same, which is we're all one race with the human race,
Yeah.
irrespective of our size, cultures, eye color, sexuality, gender, ages, preferences, whatever. We're just us. And I think, you know, like, this guy was like, oh, you know, like, you're really attractive, but, you know, and you're really pretty. This one, I didn't have my beard, but, you know, you're old. So, like, you can't really be a daddy, but you could be a son. But because your age, you can't be a son because you're old, but you got a hairy chest. So you'd probably be a bear. But because you were quite slim, you're kind of a cub. You're too old to be a cub.
What in the world is happening?
And I'm like, I'm not in fucking London Zoo. I just want a coffee. That's all I want. I want to date a guy and have a coffee. And it was like, you know, but you're not because you ain't that slim. And I'm like, rah, man, I'm just Jaden no matter what. And it really kind of kicked home that the more we do to announce our differences, we can, it's always overlooking that which makes us the same. We are the human race. That is it.
Yeah.
We're all brothers and sisters under the same sky, and we should be acting more like that then. You know, so for me, it was just, I don't give a shit whether you kiss a girl, whether you kiss a boy, whether he's a black boy or a Asian boy or a Indian girl, as long as it's, you know, just be you, the authentic you, and be a bloody lovely person.
Yeah. And I think that what you're saying is important, to just focus on the humanity part. And back to the advocacy and kind of community, when I wrote that song, I wrote it for, so I'm in this support group for men, by Black men, and I wrote it for us too. So it was kind of like, when I sat and I was like, what do we need in this moment for Pride Month? Like, with all the racism, all the homophobia, all the stuff, what do we need? So when I recorded the song, of course, I wanted to sing it, but it was kind of like, okay, I know where this song can live and who will celebrate and enjoy it. Yeah.
And I'm a British boy living in Mexico. So I've gone from, like, you know, I'm now a minority, and I still can't get over the stories I hear about the United States of America and its racism and discrimination. Like, I kind of thought naively, stupidly, that everything kind of died out in the 60s and the 70s, and now everyone lives harmoniously together. But I still can't believe the level of hate and discrimination in your country, dude.
Well, and I feel, I mean, and I'm not an expert on this, but I also feel like people have become inspired to be more out with their racism because of certain people in the media. You know what I mean? Like, before, I feel like there was more like closet for a lack of a better term, people were in the closet with their hatred and bigotry and stuff. But now I feel like it's just more upfront. Like it's really something to like, and then it's dressed up as like free speech, right? So, oh, this is, you can't take away my ability to say what I want, even if I want to be.
Yes, I can, Karen. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of that. And I mean, what can we do but just
maybe, in all honesty, maybe it's better out in the open than festering under some damp, stinky blanket, because at least you know who to punch out.
Exactly. And I prefer it like that.
Yeah, you know who's been honest. I mean, I think when certain political presences were, kind of in power and stuff, that it was more difficult to be racist. And I kind of think when what it's like when you have problems dealing with your sexual identity and and stuff like that, the more you suppress, the more it grows and becomes traumatic and becomes disastrous and becomes angry and becomes all these things. So I think that even though there are way more Karens, I think outwardly than what they've ever been before, I think maybe it's a good thing, because maybe eventually they will just get like taken off by the wind, as opposed to festering and becoming almost like, I don't know, something.
But I think that's what's happened. I feel like they're a dying breed, and so it's like, let's get this last little bit, let's say this last little racist homophobia, transphobia, let's get it out before we're just not relevant anymore. And so I agree with what you're saying. I think that they're a dying breed, and it's just kind of like a last, the last.
I apologize on the behalf of the human race that we're such assholes about certain things.
I know,
Yeah, it's not the best race to be seen with, to be fair.
Yeah.
But keep doing what you're doing. Keep being your authentic self, because you're doing amazingly. And what is your future, mate? What are you doing? What are your plans for the future?
Plans for the future. What a great question. So I want to keep creating, of course, in different formats. But I think for me, it's really important to inspire, motivate, and empower other people. I've been a lot through my life with loss and grief and different things. And I realized that a lot of people can't go into the studio and have fun and play. And, hey, I'm going to put, certain words in the title, like bisexual or whatever. Not like that's a bad word, but some people can't reach the state of play with their identities. And so I think that my goal is to model that, but also to kind of like give people permission to create fearlessly, have fun, and also be a resource for people on how I did it. Even when it comes to, like we talked earlier about losing our fathers, that's a pivotal moment in any man's life, no matter how he identifies. Let's talk about that, and let's talk about mental health and wellness and taking care of ourselves and legacy. So all of that to say, I think for me, it takes its form in creating in different formats, and also getting on platforms and speaking, and of course doing more and more and more.
Absolutely, amen to that. And doing it all as you. How better?
Yeah, no other way.
Oh, absolutely, man. So have you got any live events coming up soon?
Live events, I don't. I recently decided that I may be a studio artist opposed to a performance artist. There are people trying to talk me out of that. I'm open, and I would love to have an acoustic set, but at the moment, no.
Okay, so tell me the reasoning behind that decision at the
moment. I feel like I like the creation process. I feel like the performance is, I don't know. I feel like I'm not a performer. I feel like everything is kind of like in the moment. It's authentic. I try to speak from the heart. When you're performing, it's like all rehearsed in a way. And I don't know. I'm still developing.
In my case, I hate performing. I've probably done more than 5,000-6,000 shows in my life, and probably,
oh my goodness,
way over 300 million people worldwide, and I still hate doing it. Put me in the studio, let me do backing vocals and harmonies. I love that shit. But front of 12 people in a cafe and I feel sick. There's a lyric that I'm trying to say, like, only two, because I think I should probably do a two for the word two. And I'm trying to think how to be naturally performing. I don't know how to explain it. So
all
rather than
rehearsed.
actually just being in the music and just doing. I mean, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
37.
That's it. Oh, so you're still a baby. But the only great thing about being in my late 40s was that I kind of didn't give a shit anymore. There was a real freedom for someone who couldn't even get on a bus until he was 20 because he was too shy. I actually, as the older I got, there was this freedom. I'll be halfway through a song and I'll be, do you know what? I'm not even feeling this. I'll just stop it and say, oh, I don't like it. And if I don't like it, you ain't going to like it. So let's do something we both enjoy and just start a new song, because it just seemed to get this sense of like, I'm not trying to impress anyone anymore. I'm just doing it. So I've got to make it. I don't care if I don't dance anymore. I don't care if I don't do a number two for the word two. I'm just sit there.
Right, you got to get your hand in your face.
I've got to go on YouTube and watch all my Backstreet Boys tutorials.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, no man, I'm just going to sing it. If I don't like it, I ain't singing it.
Maybe that's the best way, is to, if you're going to perform, hey, get up. I'm going to sing it like this. If you don't like it, move. That's
so
it.
I think eventually you might do a couple of live acoustic sets.
Yeah, I could do
it's good
that.
To feel it. It's good to feel it, but when you're at a stage where you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, and I want to know when.
Okay, I'll let you know. I have a feeling that it would probably be live. I feel like it would be a live, probably something online. I could see myself in a studio, like broadcasting something on the internet. We'll see. Okay,
you better let me know.
I will.
Okay, because I will be there.
Cool, thank you.
That would be fantastic. So where can people find you? People at home you've met and now you've fallen enamorado con Mr. Ross Victory. Now you're going to need to know where you can find him, right? So where are you, dude?
Yeah, I'm all over the internet. rossvictory.com, Ross Victorious on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter /X. And hit the DMs. I love to speak to you, share some music, share stories. I'm an open book.
Fantastic. And Threads now as well.
And Threads, yes.
Is it good to do? Do I need to do that? I'm a bit of a technophobe, you see.
Yeah, I think Threads is, I think if you go in there, see, if you like Twitter and kind of short form content, I think that it'll work for you.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll be checking that out later. I'll follow you on Threads and later. That's cool.
Okay.
Mr. Victory, thank you so much for being part of my show. You're an absolute diamond. And I hope you'll come back and tell me when different things happen, and we'll just keep updated and we'll keep putting out Ross Victory shows.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jaden, for having me, and keep up the good work. Keep inspiring and doing what you're doing as well.
Cheers, dude. You take good care and we'll catch up soon.
Sounds good.
See you later, mate. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Isn't he handsome? Isn't he wonderful? What a lovely, lovely guy. Thank you, Mr. V, for joining me on my show. Thank you for you lovely viewers at home for checking this show out. Please go and check Ross out on all of his social media platforms. Go and download all of his music on his music download and streaming platforms too. I know you already love him, so go and find him, go and show him support and love. That's how it rolls on the Jaden Show. Thank you so much for being part of today's show, y'all. I've had a wonderful one. I'll also be back next Sunday with another superb guest. I'm very lucky with the people I get to speak to. Don't forget, while you're following Ross on all of his social media platforms, check out Jaden Cornelius on my ones too, and give a like and a share and a follow and a tweet and all that kind of stuff. It'll be very, very lovely. While you're there, you might as well be following me as well. Take good care of yourselves. I'm going to leave you with another song, which is called One Step at a Time by the wonderful Mr. Victory. You be good. Take care. Stay beautiful. And I'll see you next week on The Jaden Show. Ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.
If you've been hurting, this song's for you. I Most days you smile and you cry. You try, only to their surprise. Deep down you're hurting. Relationships burn, they grow. In a crowd, all alone. Truth is, there's more than one road to reach what you're seeking. Keep your head up, one step at a time. Life's more than a mile. Keep your head up, rest for a while. I know you've been hurting. 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 It's hard to see beyond the pain when you can't breathe. You're not alone. The scars build up underneath the soul. Lay your head down, lay your head down. Fight for your air, you won't drown. Choose to lead us, choose to follow. Fill your cup, your heart is hollow. Keep your head up, one step at a time. Life's more than a mile. Keep your head up, rest for a while. I know you've been hurting. Keep your head up, one step at a time. Life's more than a mile. Keep your head up, rest for a while. I know you've been hurting.